Imagine saving for years, pouring every spare dime into a dream plot of land where you'd build something extraordinary, a personal paradise. Then, one crisp morning, you're jolted awake by the roar of bulldozers tearing into your property. No warning, no permission, just a half-built shopping center rising where your future was supposed to take root. And who's behind it? A ruthless HOA dictator named Margaret Hensley, the kind of woman who'd stare down a tornado and demand it sign a noise complaint. This isn't just a story of betrayal, it's a tale of cunning revenge where I, Nathan Harper, turned her power grab into a multi-million-dollar triumph without ever stepping foot in a courtroom. At 44, I thought I'd seen every dirty trick in the book, but Margaret was about to teach me a lesson and I'd return the favor in spades. I'm a landscape architect, the guy who transforms dull yards into living art. After grinding for years in Charlotte, I cashed out, traded city chaos for the sleepy suburb of Pine Hollow, Georgia, and bought a half-acre plot next to my new home. That land was my canvas untouched, fertile, practically begging for a garden of jasmine and a whispering koi pond. Pine Hollow seemed perfect at first. Neat lawns, friendly waves, a place where folks minded their own business. But lurking beneath the charm was the Pine Hollow Homeowners Association, a bureaucratic beast with Margaret Hensley at its helm. Picture a woman with hairspray armor, lips painted like a warning sign, and a smile that promised trouble. Margaret didn't just enforce rules, she weaponized them. A hedge too tall? Fine. A kid's bike left out? Violation notice. She once fined a guy for a non-compliant mailbox color beige instead of taupe. I stayed under her radar, or so I thought, content to sketch my garden and sip coffee in peace. Trouble crashed in 6 months later. I was walking my dog, Baxter, when a mechanical growl stopped me cold. It wasn't a storm or a delivery truck, it was worse. I sprinted to my plot and froze. A construction crew was ripping into my land, hard hats swarming like ants. A sign stabbed into the dirt read, "Future site of Pine Hollow Center." My stomach churned. I'm not a shouter, but rage boiled as I cornered the foreman, a guy clutching a clipboard like a lifeline. "This is my land," I said, voice tight. "What's going on?" He barely glanced up. "Talk to the HOA. They greenlit it." My blood pressure spiked. I stormed to the HOA office, a sterile box reeking of Margaret's floral perfume like lilies dipped in spite. She sat behind a fortress of rulebooks, nails clicking like a countdown. "Mr. Harper," she purred, not looking up, "to what do I owe this visit?" I leaned in, gripping her desk. "Why's a mall being built on my property? I didn't approve this." Margaret's eyes flicked up, sharp as a blade. "Your property?" she said, feigning shock. "Nathan, that plot's been empty for months. The HOA has a duty to advance community interests. We deemed it abandoned for the greater good. You'll love the new bakery." I was speechless. Abandoned? I had blueprints, permits, a vision. I thrust my deed at her. "This proves I own it. You can't just take it." She smirked, leaning back. "Read your HOA contract, dear. Section 12, paragraph 4. Unused land can be repurposed for community projects. You should have built something. We'll compensate you modestly." Her tone dripped venom, and I swear her chair groaned under her arrogance. I left, fuming, my mind racing. Sue her? Sure, but Margaret had the town's top lawyers on speed dial. A lawsuit would bleed me dry, and the HOA's rulebook was a legal maze designed to crush dissent. She'd played me, banking on my surrender. But I don't fold. I plot. As I walked home, fury gave way to focus. Margaret's smug face, that tacky office, her assumption she'd won, they fueled me. She wanted my land for her empire? I'd make her pay a fortune for it. I'm no lawyer, but I sculpt landscapes, and gardens are strategy, soil, light, timing. Margaret's game was greed, and I'd turn it against her. First, I needed dirt in her. At the town planning office, a clerk named Carl, bribed with a donut, spilled that Pine Hollow Center was fast-tracked by the HOA for Apex Ventures, a developer with a name screaming wealth. Permits listed my plot as HOA acquired. Stolen, more like. That night, with Baxter snoring at my feet, I dug online. Apex's website was corporate fluff, but a local article named Margaret as a part-time real estate investor. She owned land next to mine, poised to soar in value with the new center. This wasn't about community, it was her personal jackpot, and my plot was the key. I hit the neighborhood, chatting over mailboxes. My neighbor, Mrs. Callahan, a 70-year-old with killer oatmeal cookies and sharper gossip, unloaded. Margaret had terrorized Pine Hollow for years, finding folks into submission and strong-arming sales to Apex. She bullied the Wilsons into selling their lot dirt cheap last year, and Apex snapped it up. "She's got a cut of every deal," Mrs. Callahan whispered. The pattern was clear. Target a property, drown the owner in fines, force a lowball sale. My plot was her boldest heist yet, building without consent. She thought I'd cave like the rest. Big mistake. An idea sparked, wild and ruthless. If Apex and Margaret wanted my land, I'd let them have it, but at a price that'd make their eyes water. I called my old friend, Lauren Pierce, a real estate shark who could sell ice to penguins. Over beers, I laid out Margaret's scam, sliding her Apex's permits. "I want to hit her wallet and her pride," I said. Lauren grinned. "Here's the play. Don't fight Apex, make them beg for your land at a price that chokes Margaret. Millions, not pennies." Her plan was brilliant. Inflate my plot's value, spread rumors of its potential, and spark a bidding war. Apex would have to outbid everyone, and I'd cash out. Risky? Sure. Margaret wasn't dumb, but I was done playing nice. Lauren hooked me up with Jake, a broker with a Rolex and a hustler's charm. "Location, location, location," he said over diner coffee. "We'll pitch your plot as retail gold, maybe a tech hub." Jake worked the phones, hinting to investors about a prime parcel in Pine Hollow. He leaked a fake report about a major retailer circling. Within days, my half-acre was buzzing in real estate forums from Charlotte to Macon. Lauren suggested a fake auction to panic Apex. We rented a community hall, printed glossy flyers, and invited every investor in Georgia. I hired a guy to wave a sign, "Pine Hollow's hottest lot." Overkill? Maybe, but Margaret needed to think the world wanted my land more than she did. I got an appraiser, Tara, who valued my plot at $4 million, citing its highway access and untapped potential. A stretch, but legal. Jake slipped the report to Apex, twisting the knife. Auction day was electric. The hall packed with suits, coffee breath, and whispers of a Pine Hollow deal. I stood at the back, heart pounding but face cool. Lauren schmoozed the crowd, dropping buzzwords like "once in a lifetime." Jake played auctioneer, starting at $1 million. Hands flew up, some real, some plants Lauren had roped in. Margaret stormed in, lipstick blazing, face a mix of rage and shock. She hadn't seen this coming. Perfect. Bids hit $2 million, then $2.50. Apex's rep, a nervous guy in a cheap suit, bid under Margaret's frantic whispers. At $3.5 million, I took the mic, voice steady. "I've got an appraisal valuing this land at $4 million. Apex is building their center on my deed without permission. Who's bidding higher?" The crowd roared. Margaret snapped, leaping up. "This is a scam. Nathan Harper's conning you. That land's worthless." I leaned in. "Funny, Margaret. You're the one building on worthless land. Maybe Apex should rethink their partner." The room buzzed, and Margaret's face matched her lipstick. She'd exposed herself as the villain. Bids climbed to $3.8 million. Apex, cornered, bid to save their half-built center. A guy in a cowboy hat pushed it to $3.90, but Apex sealed it at $4 million. Jake's gavel slammed. Sold. The crowd cheered, but I was already counting. I bought the plot for $350,000. This was a 10x return, tax-free. I signed the deal that day, money wired by dusk. Margaret? She crashed hard. Apex was furious, overpaying because of her blunder. Neighbors, led by Mrs. Callahan, demanded an HOA audit, sniffing Margaret's Apex kickbacks. Her reign was unraveling, and I didn't lift a finger. I didn't just pocket the cash. I funded legal help for HOA victims and Mrs. Callahan's community garden, now blooming with roses and zucchini. My dream garden took shape: jasmine, koi pond, the works. Each morning, I sipped coffee there, Baxter at my feet, glancing at Pine Hollow Center's new bakery. Margaret promised that shop, but I'm the one who got paid. The real win wasn't the money, it was watching Margaret realize she'd been outplayed. She thought rules and lawyers made her untouchable. I used her greed like fertilizer, Apex's desperation like sunlight, and my auction as the spark. The result? A $4 million harvest. Don't let tyrants like Margaret run your life. They feed on fear, but crumble when you play smarter. Find their flaw, greed, pride, and make it your weapon. I didn't just win. I made Margaret's own game her downfall. And damn, it felt good.